Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue our recitation from Asa Ki War. Today is Pauri 20, and the first salok is as follows. Salok Mahalla Pehla, Nanak Phikai Boliai, Tan Man Phika Hoy. Phikko phikka saddiye, phikke phikki soy. Phikka dargah sattiye, moe thukka phikke paai. Phikka murkh aakhiye, paana lahe sajai. So if we were to translate this literally, it would read as follows. Insipid speech, phikai boliai, jades the body and the mind, tan man phikka hoy. And when this is repeated, it becomes a habit. Phikko phikka sadiye. And that habit shapes one's reputation, meaning one's life accordingly. Phikka, phikki soy. Now when this behavior is evaluated in the dargah, phikka dargah satiye, then the phikka, the jaded one, is spat on in the face. And the phikka remains a fool, phikka murkha kiye, and is beaten with footwear, pana lahe sajai. So there is a sense that phikka means more than jaded or insipid, because it's been called a fool. So let's try and parse this to see what phikka really means. Here, in this context, how is it being used? And we know Gurbani is all metaphor, so we have to be careful. So generally, phikka translates as tasteless, as bland, insipid, and it's used to describe things that lack flavor or zest. However, there is another dimension to phikka, which means faint, dim, vapid. It actually means dead. So it seems to me that it is in this latter sense of being dim, of being dead rather, that Babaji is using the word, because he is signifying the unenlightened state of the mind, the ego, because it is really dead to the self. So this is really a description of the ego self expressing itself through its bowl, because Bolya is the symbol of subjective expression, right? Words are the vehicles of our own truth, the trigger for our actions, and our actions are the seedbed of who we become. They shape us. So therefore, Phikka Boliai is the shaping of the ego, and the ego is dead to the self. So this is really a metaphor used to describe the ego, and to say that egoic behavior, when it is evaluated in the dargah, so the real question is, what is the dargah? Is it some sort of a shrine, like a Sufi shrine, which is what it really means? So we have to really examine the word itself. It's a Persian word, and it really means a portal or a threshold. And the Sufis believed that if they went to the dargah of the Sufi saint, the departed Sufi saint, that they could actually communicate with the departed soul. So it's a threshold. And it is in that sense that Babaji uses it. What he's saying is that at the threshold of that higher consciousness within you, when this is evaluated there, it is sitya, it's thrown away, it's not accepted. This is not acceptable behavior. That's the point. So phikka boliye tan man phikka hoy, your body, mind, your psychic structure is really dead to the self. It's not awakened, it's not enlightened. And now on to the next salok. Mahalla pehla, andaron chuthe paj bahar duniya andar phail. 68 ਤੀਰਥ ਜੇ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਤਰੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਮੈਲ. Andron jhute. Jhoot is false, fake. Andaron chute, you personify falsehood, is what Babaji is saying. Bahir, Paj Bahir. Paj actually means a teacher, someone who teaches. It's a proper name, actually, a Paj. So what is being said is that your falsehood personified by pretending to be a paragon of virtue, or that you're pretending to teach others. You see the contradiction here. And the Guru says, all the bathing in the world at pilgrimages, even if you were to go to all the 68 landmark historical pilgrimages, the dirt of your ego cannot be cleansed. Utre nahi mel. That is the impurity that cloaks the self. And then he gives us a sense of how it is to be awakened. Jin pat andar. Pat. The word pat is usually translated as soft, as silken, which it is, but it has other connotations, and it is referring to a state of sahaj, calmness, tranquility. So what you have to be in a state of sahaj within. So jin pat andar, those who have attained a state of sahaj within, bahir guddar te pale sansar, they are virtuous ones because they are tranquil within a conflicted world. Because normally this line is translated to mean that if you're soft inside and hard on the outside, you're a virtuous person, you're coarse outside. But that's a value judgment. And I don't think Gurbani believes in value judgments of others. Because in the previous passage, the Baba was very clear. He says, Manda kise na akhiye. So it means be non-judgmental. If there is anything to be judged, it is your ego. So you have to find that state of sahaj. And for that, you have to be imbued with the love of the self. Contemplation is love. Rang hasse, rang rove, chup bhi kar jaye. Hasse, rove, crying and laughing, meaning joys and sorrows. So these individuals remain in that state of sahaj, which is love, contemplative love. Rang is a synonym for it. Amidst their joys and sorrows, they remain in that state. And they remain silent. Chup bhi kar jaye. They don't make a show. They make no pretense. So they have no pretensions like the andaron chute bahar guddar, right? Andaron chute bahar pat. That is a pretension that people have. But these, the real bhagats, have no pretensions. And they have no dependence. Parwah nahi kise keri, baaj sache naai, apart from self-knowledge. And on this path, they seek the blessings of the self as provisions. Darwaat uppar, on this path, kharch manga, they ask for kharch, provisions. Jabbe de ta khaye. And when they receive it, they use it. And then the Guru says at the end of the day, there is only one court of justice, which is hukam. One pen with which it is written, and that of hukam. In the realm of hukam, you and I are one. Eka hamma tumma mel. Diban eko kalam eka hamma tumma mel. Dar laye lekha pid chute nanaka jiyo tel. The wheels of justice of hukam grind exceedingly small, and they extract justice like oil is extracted from a sesame seed. It's a very delicate, subtle process. It is happening what it means is it's happening in the realm of the mind. And then the Pauri, Babaji says, Ape hi karna kiyo, kale ape hi te tariye, ape hi karna kiyo. It is the primary cause. It itself brings the world to manifestation and itself assigns and creates different roles, functions. Tariye. Dekha kita apna tarkachi pakki sariya. It oversees its operation. And like pieces in the game of a chaupad, tarkachi pakki sariya, it makes sure that its creation and the different functions mature, reach their goal. It ensures that, it overlooks that. Jo aaya so chal si sab koi aayi wari hai. So the individual is caught in this coming and going that has been created. So we are part of this coming and going, and we have our turn. And when it is your opportunity, make sure that kachi pakki sariye, make sure that you end up being mature, pakki, and don't remain kachi. Jiske ji pran hai, kyun sahib man ho visariye. And the way you do that, become pakka, is to always remain mindfully aware of the self in you, to be guided by the Guru. Apna hathi apna, ape hi kaaj savariye. Apna hi hathi apna. Accomplish your own purpose with thine own hands, meaning there are no intermediaries here. Nobody can do this for you. You have to do it with your own abilities and your own understanding. So cultivate your understanding, cultivate virtue, be Guru guided. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.